Alright, you guys ever heard about that wild story from Heilongjiang, China, where a paper figure supposedly came to life and tried to kill someone? Yeah, it's nuts. This dude was using some special paint made from chicken blood and cinnabar to draw faces on these paper figures. Then, in the middle of the night, one of those paper figures legit came alive, grabbed a stick, and went after him. Welcome to the creepy tale of the paper figure murder case from China's Ghost Chronicles. So, this all went down back in 1992 in a small village near Harbin, Heilongjiang. There was this guy, Niu Ma, who totally bombed his college entrance exams and was just chilling at home doing nothing. His dad, Niu Tianba, got fed up and sent him to his uncle's place to learn a trade. Now, his uncle was this famous craftsman in the village, known for making jiaji, these paper figures for funerals that were so lifelike, people said they could actually move. At first, Niu Ma thought it was all BS, but one night, he nearly got killed by one of those things. Here's what happened. His uncle had to go help out in another village and left Niu Ma alone to work. Before he left, he was super serious, like, "Niu Ma, whatever you do, don't paint the faces on those paper figures. Only I can do that when I get back." Niu Ma was like, yeah, got it. 'Cause his uncle had said this a million times before. So after his uncle left, Niu Ma got to work making the paper figures and paper horses. 'Cause someone was picking them up the next day, and there was no time to waste. Niu Ma had done this like 100 times, so he whipped up the frames for the figures no problem. He slathered on the glue, layered the straw paper over the frames, and in half a day, the body of a paper figure was basically done. But when he turned to grab the paint for the clothes from a drawer, he got this weird vibe, like something was watching him. It felt different from all the other times he'd made these things. By now, it was getting dark, and his uncle still wasn't back like he said he'd be. Niu Ma looked at the paper figure and thought, screw it, people are coming for this tomorrow. So he grabbed his uncle's special face painting brush and started painting a face on the figure. It was his first time doing it, and his hands were shaking like crazy. But back in school, he was the guy who did the blackboard art. So he calmed down and painted a face that looked way more realistic than his uncle's. He was stoked, thinking his uncle would totally praise him. He finished up a few more figures and horses, and since his uncle still wasn't back by night, he just crashed. But then past midnight, some freaky stuff went down. Niu Ma got woken up by weird noises coming from the outer room. He thought it was his uncle finally back, so he got up to open the door. But when he looked outside, there was nobody in the yard. He figured he was just hearing things and was about to go back to bed when, bam! Something insane happened. A shadow popped up behind him, holding a stick, and before he could even process it, whack! He took a hard hit to the head, so strong it sent him stumbling into the yard. When he managed to look up and see who hit him, he was freaked out. It was the paper figure he made. No way, right? Before he could even think, the paper figure swung the stick at him again. Niu Ma was like, this thing's trying to kill me. In a panic, his hand brushed against a sickle they used for cutting grass. He grabbed it and slashed at the paper figure's leg, tearing through the straw paper and snapping the wooden frame inside. But when he looked at its face, the thing was grinning at him, all creepy like, not even fazed. It was terrifying. Niu Ma went nuts, hacking at the figure with the sickle, tearing it to shreds, but it still kept coming at him, swinging that stick. He was about to block another hit when out of nowhere, the paper figure burst into flames. Turns out, his uncle had finally shown up and saw the figure going rogue, so he torched it with a firebrand to save Niu Ma. Niu Ma was like, "Uncle, you won't believe what just happened." But his uncle cut him off and told him to drag out all the figures he'd made that day. Then he burned them all to ashes. As the flames died down, his uncle looked at him all calm and said, "Now you get why I told you not to paint their faces, huh? Painting faces on paper figures is serious business. You can't make M2 fake, but you definitely can't make M2 real. You painted yours way too lifelike. And you used that special paint with chicken blood and cinnabar. That's what gave it some evil vibe and brought it to life. That paint's only safe to use right before burning the figures." After that, Niu Ma grew up real quick. He never asked to paint faces again. Guess only an old-school craftsman like his uncle could handle that kind of skill without things going totally haywire.